Hello and a good day to everyone. This is Larry Tentarelli with the Blue Chip Daily Trend Report with a brief instructional video on how to use GTC orders to automate the trading process and hopefully remove some of the emotion from it. So we'll get started. We'll take a look at a tweet that I posted today. And I said one thing that will help to prevent getting shaken out of trades early based on news or volatility is to pre-plan the trade with GTC orders. And I used an example. If we buy a stock at $100, set a stop at 90 and a partial scale at 120, there's nothing else to do but let it work hands off. So we're going to take a look at an actual example. And I used very general math in that example. But the reason that I posted it is over the years, I've talked to a lot of people that would get into a trade, everything lined up just right. They got the right signal, they had their risk sized right, they set the stop just right. And then right after they got into the trade, it might have started to go down a little bit. Maybe a piece of news came out. Maybe they talked to a friend and told them something else. And in either case, they cut the trade well ahead of the original stop. And then the trade went on to move a lot higher. And what happens is that can cause a lot of emotional drama, things to work through. So what we want to try to do, and this is what I'm going to spend just a few minutes on, is talking about how to pre-plan the trades using GTC orders to try to reduce some of the emotions and take our hands off of the trade. So before we get started, we'll introduce my website, Blue Chip Daily Trend Report. We'll touch on a brief disclaimer, which says everything in the video is for informational purposes only. And then we'll take a look at Zoom. And the reason that I picked Zoom was our recent chart of the day on our website and Twitter feed. So this goes back to March 18th. So that was about 2 weeks ago. And the price for Zoom at the time was 107.85. And we set the stop risk level in the alert for 91.67. And then this just gives a brief explanation behind why. So what we do is every day we have what's called a chart of the day, best technical idea. So that day the best technical idea was Zoom. So the buy signal that was given on the chart of the day was 107.85. Now we gave out a stop risk level of 15%, 91.67. Now people can use different stop risk levels. What I've done in more volatile markets is to make the stops a little bit wider and to make the position sizing a little bit smaller. Now 15% can be considered a wide stop. It's based on time frame. Some people will want to run a tighter stop, but for this case, and because I've got an intermediate to longer term time frame, we used a stop level at 91.67. So the way it would work is the trader would take the position, let's call it 107.85, and then just go into the system, put in a GTC stop order. It would be a stop market at 91.67. So all that means is that if the stock trades down to 91.67, then they get out on the next available trade. So that would set the risk at 15%. Now what a trader can do, and this is what I spoke about in that tweet, is a trader can put in a sell order also on the upside. So we don't want to use one-to-one risk to reward because it's hard to make money over time if you risk $1 to make $1. So we'll use a couple hypothetical examples. So let's say we run 1.5 to 1 reward to risk. So we want to risk $1 to make $1.50 if we're right. So in this case, instead of a 15% exit, it would be 1.5 times that, so 22.5%. So the sell order would go in at 132.11. So the trader gets the position, they go in and they set the stop, and then they can set another GTC order for 132.11. And what will happen, and they can obviously determine if they want to sell half of the position, all of the position, a third of the position, whatever it is that they decide. And then as soon as if the stock trades up to that level, then what's going to happen is the GTC order will go off and it will sell whatever piece of the position that the trader designated. Now, if the trader decides instead of running 1.5, they want to run 2.0, so they want to risk $1 to make $2. Then they could put the stop GTC at 30%, so 140.20. And then obviously if the trade starts to work, now obviously this is a chart that went higher, so it's a good example. But this, as far as what metrics the trader uses, what they use for a stop loss, what percentage they scale, and at what price level that they scale it at, that is all separate from what this video is. So what this video is just to show the concept. If we want to do something to pre-plan the trade and reduce some of the emotional involvement so that we don't get into a position and then every day micromanage every single tick, and then the stock goes from 107 to 104, they get shaken out, then it goes to 164. So we want to have some type of a method where we can use GTC orders. So in this case, entry point, stop loss on the downside, partial scale could be up here, partial scale could be up there. The partial scale, the variables can be anything that the trader wants them to be. But the bottom line concept is that it's possible to get into a trade, set a stop loss on the downside, set a partial scale order on the upside, and then then the trade just goes to work. There's no reason to watch the news every second or look at the chart every second. Entry signal, stop on the downside, partial scale on the upside. If the trade starts to work, the trader can always move their stops up. There's a lot of ways to manage the position, but do it in a more systematic way or in a pre-planned way other than just staring tick by tick at the screen. So in this example, set the stop, GTC on the upside, can move the stop up anytime to break even or over break even. But just a couple different ideas of what a trader can do to look to automate their trading a little bit more and not get so emotional about it or micromanage every tick. So obviously, once again, Blue Chip Daily Trend Report. We've got some other information. We've got a public blog which goes through quite a few information. Obviously, we're accepting new members, so feel free to check us out, and I appreciate everyone's time.